Poor people don't stay poor because of money, they stay poor because of thinking. We live in the most abundant time in history. There are more opportunities, resources, and tools available today than any generation before us. The internet has made knowledge free, business borderless, and success possible for anyone with the courage to begin. And yet millions still struggle. In the land of wealth, many remain poor, not just in money, but in mindset, ambition, and discipline. Why? Because while opportunity is everywhere, preparation and awareness are rare. The truth is, poverty in an age of abundance isn't about a lack of resources, it's about a lack of mindset. Most people never learn the habits that create wealth. They're trained to survive, not to thrive. The system teaches how to earn a paycheck, but not how to build freedom. You see, wealth doesn't come to those who wait for luck. It comes to those who prepare for opportunity. Every wealthy person began poor in some way, financially, emotionally, or mentally, but they made a decision: I will not stay here. That's the moment transformation begins. Poor people often focus on what they don't have: time, money, support. The wealthy focus on what they can do, learn, build, connect, grow. The poor see obstacles, the wealthy see openings. The difference isn't the country, the economy, or luck, it's thinking. Mindset creates behavior, behavior creates results, and results create the life you live. If you think like a victim, life will keep proving you right. But if you think like a student, life will start teaching you how to win. Wealth is not a matter of circumstance, it's a matter of philosophy. The question isn't why is life unfair, it's what am I willing to change in myself to rise. Because the truth is, in a land of wealth, poverty is not just a financial condition. It's a mental prison built by fear, excuses, and inaction. But here's the good news: anyone can break free. The moment you change the way you think about money, effort, and opportunity, your world begins to change with you. That's where wealth begins, not in your pocket, but in your mind. Most people think poverty is about money. But that's only the surface. The real problem is not the lack of money, it's the lack of a wealth mindset. You can take all the money in the world, divide it equally among everyone, and within a few years it will end up back in the same hands. Why? Because wealth doesn't stay with those who don't know how to think like the wealthy. Poor people often see money as something outside of themselves, something they chase, fear, or depend on. The wealthy see money as something they create through ideas, discipline, and value. That's the difference in philosophy. The poor focus on spending, the rich focus on investing. The poor see money as the goal, the rich see it as a tool. The poor live by emotions, the rich live by principles. It's not luck that makes one person wealthy and another poor, it's habits. You can't build wealth with a scarcity mindset. You can't grow when your first thought is, I can't afford it, because that one phrase stops your brain from thinking of solutions. The wealthy don't say, I can't afford it. They ask, how can I afford it? The moment you start asking better questions, life gives you better answers. The truth is, poverty begins in the mind long before it appears in the wallet. If you see yourself as a victim, you'll act like one. If you believe life owes you something, you'll never build anything on your own. The wealthy take responsibility for their choices, their time, their habits, and their future. They don't wait for help, they become the help. They don't wait for opportunity, they prepare for it. A poor mindset says, it's not my fault. A wealthy mindset says, it's my responsibility. That's the turning point. Because once you accept that your future is in your hands, you stop blaming and start building. The poor stay poor because they cling to excuses. The wealthy become rich because they cling to growth. And until that mental shift happens, no amount of money can change the outcome. Wealth doesn't disappear overnight, and poverty doesn't arrive suddenly. Both are the results of daily habits, repeated quietly, consistently, and often unconsciously. Every day, your habits either pull you toward wealth or push you deeper into struggle. The difference between the poor and the wealthy isn't one big decision, it's 1,000 small ones made over time. Poor often choose instant pleasure, the quick reward, the easy escape, the comfort of now. They buy what they want today, even if it costs them what they need tomorrow. The wealthy delay gratification they sacrifice now so they can multiply later. Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. Failure, on the other hand, is just a few errors in judgment repeated every day. The poor scroll through hours of entertainment. The rich study for hours of education. The poor spend to impress. The rich invest to progress. The poor wait for the weekend. The rich build a life they don't need a weekend from. It's never about luck, it's about patterns. If you save $5 a day for 10 years, you'll have a small fortune. But if you waste $5 a day for 10 years, you'll have nothing, and you won't even know where it went. That's how habits work, quietly, invisibly, powerfully. The poor say it's only a small thing, but those small things compound just like money. Discipline compounds too. That's why wealthy people guard their habits like treasures. They know every habit builds a future, either one of growth or regret. If you wake up late, blame others, avoid responsibility, and repeat it daily, you don't need a fortune teller to predict your future. If you read daily, learn daily, and act daily, your success is inevitable. Every small habit whispers your destiny. Change your habits, and you change your direction. Change your direction, and you change your future. Remember this truth: poverty is built one small bad habit at a time, and so is wealth. One of the biggest reasons poor people stay poor is this: they spend their energy blaming instead of building. You'll hear it all the time: it's the government's fault. The system is against us. Rich people are lucky. My family didn't support me. But here's the truth: blaming doesn't change anything. It just makes you feel better for staying where you are. Jim Rohn once said, "You cannot change the wind, but you can adjust your sails." The problem isn't the storm, it's your reaction to it. While poor people complain about the economy, the wealthy learn how to use it. While the poor argue about politics, the rich focus on profits. While the poor wait for someone to save them, the rich take responsibility for saving themselves. Blame is easy. Ownership is hard, but only ownership leads to change. When you stop blaming others, you take back your power. When you stop waiting for miracles, you realize you are the miracle. Every moment you spend blaming is a moment you could have used learning, improving, or building something new. And here's the irony: when you take full responsibility, even for things that aren't your fault, life starts to open up. Why? Because you're finally in control of the one thing that truly matters: your response. The poor say, "I can't." The rich say, "How can I?" That one word, "how," changes everything. The moment you switch from excuses to execution, you cross the line that separates the dreamers from the doers. Don't blame the economy, learn how money works. Don't blame your job, build skills that make you valuable. Don't blame your past, use it as fuel for your future. Jim Rohn used to remind his audience, "Don't wish it were easier, wish you were better." That's the mindset of the wealthy. They don't seek an easier path, they build stronger shoulders. So, the next time life challenges you, don't ask why me, ask what now? Because the moment you take responsibility, you take back control. And that's where wealth truly begins, not in the economy, but in your own philosophy. You can dream all day, you can read every book, attend every seminar, repeat every affirmation in the mirror, but if you don't act, nothing changes. The biggest difference between those who stay poor and those who rise to wealth is not intelligence, not talent, not luck. It's consistent action. Poor people often wait for the perfect time. "I'll start when I have more money. I'll begin when I feel ready, maybe next year." But the truth is, the perfect time never comes. Success doesn't wait for comfort, it rewards courage. The wealthy don't wait for conditions to be right, they make them right. They take small, steady steps every single day, even when they don't feel like it, because they understand something powerful: discipline beats motivation. Motivation might get you started on Monday, but it's discipline that keeps you going when life gets tough on Thursday. The poor often live in a world of someday. Someday I'll start my business, someday I'll invest, someday I'll change, but someday is the language of delay, and delay destroys destiny. The rich, on the other hand, live by a different word today. They ask, what can I do right now with what I have to move one step closer to my dream? Action doesn't have to be big, it just has to be consistent. A few pages of a good book every day, a few dollars invested wisely, a few minutes spent learning a new skill. That's how fortunes are built, one disciplined decision at a time. Poor people often chase comfort, rich people chase growth. Poor people want instant results, rich people respect the process. Poor people see effort as pain, rich people see it as progress. The truth is, success isn't a secret, it's a routine. And the routine of wealth is built on daily action, daily learning, and daily self-improvement. If you're willing to show up not once in a while, but every single day, the results will take care of themselves. Because wealth doesn't come to those who wait, it comes to those who move. In the end, poverty and wealth are not just about money, they're about mindset, habits, and choices. The truth is, we all live in the same world. The same sun rises on the rich and the poor. The same opportunities exist for those who are willing to look for them. But the difference lies in what we decide to do with what we have. Poor people stay poor not because the world is unfair, but because they refuse to take full responsibility for changing their circumstances. They think small, they wait long, they blame often, and they rarely act. Meanwhile, the 1% think differently. They don't wait for permission, they build their own doors. They don't chase luck, they prepare for opportunity. They don't wish for less challenge, they develop more skill, and you can too. Your future isn't written in your circumstances, it's written in your daily choices. Every book you read, every hour you invest in learning, every risk you take to grow. These are the small seeds that grow into a wealthy life. If you keep doing what most people do, you'll keep getting what most people get. But if you decide today to think differently, to take responsibility, to act consistently, then you'll rise above the crowd. Because wealth isn't something you chase, it's something you become. It's the natural result of developing yourself into someone valuable, disciplined, and wise. So don't wait for change, be the change. Don't envy the wealthy, learn from them, and don't let your story end where it began. Rewrite it with purpose, vision, and belief. In the land of wealth, the doors of opportunity are always open, but only for those who are ready to walk through.